Hey everybody, welcome back. It's episode 79 of the Common World Podcast. He was early with the World Pop.
Just in case for the delay.
Well, everybody, I'm excited because we have a real special show for you today. We have a special guest. We'll get to her later, but yeah, how was everybody's week? Nothing?
Same old shit.
But, you know.
The usual amount of stress. It was all good though.
Yeah.
Good. Same here. I'm trying to think if anything happened. I feel like nothing really happened. It was kind of like a regular week. The child, she did better on her last spelling test.
Yeah, that's true.
She actually answered 5 of them correctly.
Yeah,
and that's good. 5 out of 12.
Yeah.
This is what we're celebrating now. Even the teacher was like, all right, I see the big effort there. So
Yeah. She gives no F's, our kid.
She really doesn't. I was screaming at her. I was like, what are you doing right now? Right, Sunday. Like, I don't know. Yes, on Fridays. It's terrible. All right, so let's get into those trending topics.
Yeah.
Bling, bling, bling.
What time is it? It's trending topics time.
So,
That sounded hot, I know.
Yeah, that was amazing. CDC director Dr. Redfield warned that this winter is going to be the most difficult time in the public health history of this nation. And he anticipates that there'll be approximately 450,000 total fatalities by February due to COVID. Let that sink in. Melissa's face, she's just like, all right.
Well, they call it the dark winter, no?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I pray that all these predictions are wrong. I really do.
Nah.
I feel like dealing with this.
Sounds like a Game of Thrones episode.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. We're going to get the White Walkers soon.
White Walkers are out here.
That's all we need.
It just sounds so crazy morbid. Like, I'm picturing, like, walking outside and seeing bodies on the ground. Like, that's how crazy they're talking about this.
I know, but
it's not going to be like that.
Next year it will be.
Oh my God. No, we're going to speak 2021 into some positivity, man. We are going to speak.
The only thing we got left for this year is the aliens to pop up. I'm waiting.
They already did. I don't know. So I don't understand what's going on with New York City schools, right? Because they went out because the mayor said that if there's a positivity rate of 3% or higher, then they're going to close the school down. So they close the school down. Now they're saying that on Monday, when this podcast comes out, is when the schools are going to return to in-person learning. And I think it's only up until like the younger kids, I think, are only coming back up until like 6th grade or something. I don't know. But I'm like, why are they doing this? Because the positivity rate is now up to like 5. So
yeah, it's not really working out.
But then I read something else that said that, there's reports showing that children in this age bracket are not an issue with spreading COVID. So I'm guessing that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, but then the thing is, they don't really know. No one knows anything. Every other day you hear, oh, it's this. Oh, no, actually, no, my bad. It's that. No, actually, no, it's this. They don't really have an idea what's going on out there. If they did, I think this would have been much better under control at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, may God protect us. That's all I could say. Because what are we going to do? Honestly, what are we going to do? And may God protect you all and your families. Please be safe. Please be safe. So Mel, this whole Maja hype situation.
Now, I didn't listen to his entire video because it's long and I don't have that much interest in him. But
damn.
follow this gentleman, but a lot of people know him, Major Hype. He does a lot of the comedy skits, making fun of Caribbean. He's Caribbean, so, Caribbean stories. Some of it is funny. Mm-hmm. So apparently he's going through a breakup with his fiance, and it is messy. Mm-hmm. So she put out a picture with a bloody eye saying that he would beat her.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
Yeah. And then he put out a video that he found on her phone, an old video of her having sex in a public bathroom with a gentleman.
Oh my God.
Which I saw the video. It's actually extremely funny.
Is it really?
Because the guy having sex with her is so happy. So he's recording and he's just constantly smiling into the mirror. Having the best time. And I think at one point she's like, "Can you put the camera down and fuck me?" He was in his zone. So happy. So he's denying the allegations, saying that the gentleman she was with prior to him would beat her ass, and that's an old photo, and that's where it came from. She's a gold digger. There's just so much trash going down.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
And it just I don't know, maybe it's because he's a public figure, but it's so crazy to me that he has to like go through saying all of this stuff. Like he made an hour, like more than an hour and a half long video talking about this woman and everything. And he's like, I'm not going to bash her, but he's like going on and on and on.
Well, he's trying to reverse it now. He's trying to reverse it. He looked a certain way doing certain things, but he lost a lot of followers because of this.
Yeah.
See, and this is the thing here. Who started the video thing? She put the first video out?
No, she put a photo out of her bloody eye saying that he abused her during the relationship.
So she's basically trying to destroy his career.
Yes.
Because he broke up with her.
We don't know. I don't know. But I don't follow him, but I will say I'm team women. I'm not about ass beating. I don't know who's lying, who's telling the truth. I would have unfollowed. It's just me.
You would have unfollowed, you said?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of, it's a very big accusation. And I don't take it lightly when people accuse people of that. But I also feel like there are some women out there who do use that because they know that people will just jump on that and be like, okay, a woman has been abused, let's cancel this guy. And I'm totally in agreement with that if that is true. But if it's not true, there's no repercussions that happen.
At this point, there's no way to prove it that photo isn't date stamped, or it really should be, because our phones can track, dates, but
but that's the thing. They can take it out.
Which is a little questionable at that too. And if you never called the cops on him.
And that doesn't really mean anything anyway, because there's a lot of women who do not feel like they can call the cops or are afraid because they're being threatened. There's so many reasons why people don't report it. But my thing is, just from the story that he told about her and the things that she was telling him, it sounds like this is kind of a pattern of toxic behavior that she has. But also, I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? I don't know either one of them. So it's like, you don't want to jump on the bandwagon for either one. What?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I kind of just feel like you chose her. So what does it really say about you? You knew what you were getting, or you found out, I'm sure, thereafter. And you still proposed. So I'm not really, it's a hot mess. I say unfollow both and goodbye.
Facts.
Problem solved.
Facts. So Tiana Taylor apparently is retiring from music due to the lack of support.
She only had like one album, right?
2.
I think 2.
One successful one.
Okay.
Is it me or does it sound like a tantrum?
Yes.
I felt like it sounded like a publicity stunt to maybe get her some more attention.
Yeah.
Because I remember Tank did something like that one time, and I freaked out. I'm like, why would you? What are you talking about? But he kept making music.
You're comparing Tank to,
Yeah, but I know. But Tiana's very talented. I loved her last album. She's very talented. She can sing.
You have so many fans. So what exactly are they not giving you? And why does it go to such a drastic place of now I'm not making music because they don't like you sound like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
I wonder if she means like mainstream success, because there's only a handful of people who really reach that level of mainstream success. Everyone else is pretty much.
Well, then the thing is this with that kind of thing in music business or movie business, acting, whatever. It comes down to how much you hustle and how good your producer or your marketer is. Right. If they suck, you ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So what she needs to look at more likely, instead of blaming the public, is what is my manager doing? What is my publicist doing? What am I doing as far as trying to hustle for it?
Well, she's not blaming the public. She's blaming the industry, whoever she was working with.
Well,
you're taking it out on the public. I don't understand. It's just not clear to me.
And she did thank all of her. She did thank all of her followers and everything that have been supporting her and stuff, and she appreciates and loves all them. But I have a couple theories too. It's gonna sound very bad actually, but it's very true about the music industry. I think there's a certain look that you have to have.
Good point. To
be super successful, and she's got the look here.
The body's is there, but
I don't know if it's what Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. And then also too, she's a married woman, and I know that. Well, I don't know, but I have a feeling that there's certain things that they expect or maybe want from certain women in the industry. I don't know. I could be
off. Well, it doesn't matter if they're married or not. If they want that from a certain woman, that's what's going to be a condition of their movement.
And she doesn't strike me as the type to be like that. Like she doesn't strike me at all like she's like that. She seems like she would be like, get away from me. Like, no.
Well, that might be what she meant though. She said receiving little to no real push from the machine, constantly getting the shorter end of the stick and being overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Things, but it just sounds like a tantrum. Like you're not getting the promotion you feel you deserve, and you're throwing a tantrum. That's what it sounds like to me. I could be wrong.
And I think it's hard too, especially artists, because when you know that you're good at something, and you're not getting the recognition that you feel that you deserve, I could see how that would be difficult. It's kind of like Ari, what's her name?
Ari Lennox.
Yes.
She's amazing too.
I think she's quitting as well.
But my thing is, you have albums, you have done concerts, you're still doing amazing things. And there's so many talented people out here that can't even get to where you got to. Right. And you got to it by what? Being someone who was already in money, who, I remember her when she first came out on My Sweet 16. So you came from money. So really it's like,
she did?
Yeah, she was on My Sweet 16 and she had like the big Sweet 16 and got the car at the end. Like, so I just feel like, so I feel like you already had an upper hand that a lot of people out here don't have, that have so much talent. So be grateful for what you do have and put your fucking music out. I don't understand.
So now I agree with you on the tantrum. I agree.
But,
She's just been a spoiled bride.
Whatever.
Nah. And then the last thing was Dr. Dre apparently has a daughter that he hasn't seen in 17 years, and she is applying to be a FedEx driver. and she's fine with that.
And the quote is, "Money is not what I want."
Mm-hmm.
So then what do you want?
Well, she apparently says that she was hoping that after he got divorced from his most recent wife that he would reach out and want to see the grandkids and stuff like that. And apparently that's all she wants, but who knows? Who knows?
After all this time, now she wants to reach out.
Even have his phone number.
I mean, I have no judgment on that because you never know what situation's going on and why they have an estranged relationship. So I have absolutely no comment on that.
That's so sad. That's sad. So sad. Okay. So I saw this post. I don't know if it's real, but I think it's real. And it's in Europe. I think it's in Britain. And they're having a protest, and they're all chanting the vaccine up your arse.
What did they say?
Yeah.
Up your arse.
Wait, what's the whole thing?
It says London sings, stick the vaccine up your arse. I love it.
Oh man.
I love it. I love that they're standing up because I'm not trying to be forced into a vaccine that you have not tested. It has not gone through the correct testing. Don't come near me with this shit.
I'm not buying it. I feel like, I don't know if I said this last week. Did I say this? But I remember hearing someone saying that they're going to push it out to the vulnerable communities, the ones that have been the hardest hit.
Yeah.
I have seen that too.
And you know who that is, right?
Minorities have been the guinea pigs for so many things.
Exactly.
And when you think about it, this is where I think a lot of things are a conspiracy. Think about it. These horrible neighborhoods is where majority of your Planned Parenthoods are. It's just, this is what you do.
Another way to kill us off. But you know what?
Exactly.
I don't know why everybody's getting so excited about this vaccine. Aside from the fact that, this is coming out way too fast for me. I don't feel comfortable with that. And I don't think a lot of people feel comfortable with that. And I don't think a lot of people are going to take the vaccine. And in order for a vaccine to be effective, correct me if I'm wrong, babe, I think that the majority of the population needs to take it so that the herd immunity will take effect. But if it's not the case that people aren't taking it, then there's really not going to be a change.
You know what's sad is I feel like the people who rely on the government for assistance are going to be forced into this.
Yeah.
And in order to keep it. And so they're not going to have a choice. And if you're saying that COVID is similar to the flu, which is concerning as well, because the flu, changes constantly in the strain all the time.
Yeah.
So if COVID is going to be if it's like the flu, then there's going to be different strains throughout the years. And so a vaccine will never suffice for a specific strain.
Right. And
it'll just be good for what they think it'll be.
Right. And
and they still don't know what the fuck this is.
Exactly. Nobody knows. And
that's the big problem.
Different people are being affected by it at different rates, different severities, different symptoms. It's just, they have no idea. And then also with this vaccine, they have no idea how long it's going to provide immunity for you. And then it's like you said, there's different strains. So it's like, what if you get this vaccine, but then a whole other strain comes around, then what's that going to mean? No, I'm good.
Well, not even that. It's like, how long is it going to last in you? They don't, that hasn't really been discussed either. You look at online or anything for that matter. It's like, okay, so you got this vaccine. So exactly how long is this going to give us immunity, if it does?
Yeah,
or
that's
what is it going to do?
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like, oh, well, maybe it'll work. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's okay, I just cannot. I cannot.
Yeah, I don't buy it. And then they're trying to get everyone to trust that it's safe. And they're like, yeah, we did all okay, so what's different about this vaccine this time than the ones that took several years to make? I don't understand how they think that everyone's going to be okay. First of all, people have a problem in trusting the vaccines that have been around for a long, long time, that were vetted for a long, long time. So how is anybody going to
I'm the anti-vaxxer here. Sorry. I'm hated.
But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple of months next year, probably around April or May when they start putting it out there, and hopefully nobody starts growing extra limbs.
I mean, there'll be a lot of chicks out here with thick mustaches. They can't.
Hey, sir. Deeper voice than me now, right?
Guys walking around with boobs. It's gonna be a mess.
I'm not. I'm so done. I'm so over it. Praying for 2021 to be a better run. But yeah, I think that's it for our trending topics. And we have an exciting show ahead for you guys. We're going to get into our guest for this week. So we'll talk about dieting and lifestyle and relationships. So excited for you guys to hear it. All right, I am so excited to have Toni Marinucci, a registered dietitian, here on the show with us today. Welcome to the Common Room.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you too. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule for this. I was telling you before the show that I have like 50 million questions. Melissa and we saw your TED Talk. And I found it so interesting that you related relationships and dating to dieting. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I didn't realize that my whole life was coming together to this moment in time for my career and my personal life. But basically, the long story short is I grew up overweight and I had tied my worth to my weight. And I carried that with me into adulthood. And then that led me into some really unhealthy relationships. And I think, it's easy to see now that I'm out of it. But, I had to learn a lot of hard lessons to get to where I'm at today, which is basically like, I need to know that I don't need to look a certain way or be a certain number on a scale or, wear a certain size pants to be worthy of love. Like the fact that those are the messages we've been getting fed our whole lives is just so distorted and so not true. And so that's kind of what my TED Talk was about and the book's about. And then my story as a dietitian was, I see so many of my clients, and then even me personally growing up, I figured it out really young, surprisingly, which was kind of, I guess, good for me because it put me in a position to help others today. But really early on, I had this idea that I needed to change my body. And so when I did that, I did it like, honestly, the way everyone does it today in society, which is really, really restrictive eating habits, excessive exercise, just miserable, like constructing my entire life to like fit into a diet. And it was just so exhausting and I wasn't happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. And I was like, what is the point of this? There's literally no point of this because I'm going to, even if I did lose the weight, I'm going to be miserable. I have no energy. I can't focus, and so that's kind of where I started to recognize that I wasn't alone, number one. And two, there's just, when I started to think of like all the different parallels between dieting, dating, and like romantic relationships, it was just like one after another. And so the TED Talk was the first idea. And then I was like, I need to write a book about this. Like there's so much here. There's so much contact. So that's that.
So speaking of restrictive, because you mentioned in the TED Talk, restriction is not the issue. And I know a lot of diets have like a lot of restrictions depending on what diet you pick. So what did you mean like by that's not the issue?
Right. So I say restrictions not the issue, not the answer.
Not the answer.
Not the answer. It's part of the problem. And so what I mean by that is, yes, to lose weight, you do need to be in a calorie deficit, which is the fancy way of saying you need to take in less calories than your body expends or uses on a day-to-day. Obviously, there's a lot more to that, and which makes it makes it easier to stay in a calorie deficit if you're enjoying the food that you like and you enjoy the movement that you're expending and you incorporate quality-rich foods. But the messaging in the media is we need to have extreme restriction. And extreme restriction just only leads to more cravings, more hunger, more obsession over food. And my job with my clients and myself is I want to get people to this place of what I call food freedom, which is no longer obsessing over food. I don't want to have to think about what I want to eat, but I also want to feel good. So it's kind of finding the balance within that. So if weight loss is a goal for you, you are going to have to make compromises, not sacrifices. That's something that I like to talk about. Same thing with relationships. Like there is some sort of compromise. You're going to have to make some healthy swaps. You're going to have to pay attention in the beginning, but it's not as extreme and rigid as everybody thinks it is. And because that's the perception of what quote unquote being healthy is, it screws so many people up because it really makes them feel like there's only quote unquote like one way to be healthy, and there's not. There's many ways to be healthy, and healthy, the term healthy needs to be obviously including your physical health, but it also needs to include your mental health.
Yes.
And it needs to incorporate, it needs to align with what's important to you and your values.
Right.
You know, we're so different. And that's what makes us so special and unique, is how different we are. So why should our diets look the same? Like our clothes don't look the same. Like our jobs aren't the same. Our lifestyle, our finances, our, you know, our things that we like to do in our free time. None of that is the same. So why should our diet be the same?
Exactly. And that's what I like about your approach to nutrition, how you have like a personalized approach, because like you said, we're all different, our bodies are different. So I really like that focus on like what works specifically for you. And it's kind of like a whole person approach, it seems like, that you're taking into account.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. It's not going to work if there's no one size fits all approach to nutrition. There's like some foundational things that make sense. You know, we can talk about like certain habits and things that can make somebody healthy, but the way in which you do that is going to look different for everyone too. So like, eating vegetables, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, moving your body, like they're all the foundational things that someone needs to do to help support their mental and physical health. But what that exactly looks like is going to be different according to the individual's wants, needs, and values.
Exactly.
It's so important right now too, with the whole quarantine and COVID and working from home for a lot of people. We don't move as much.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
We're restricted to sitting so much longer. And it's interesting that you think, okay, after work, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do this, but you're actually exhausted by the time the end of the day comes, and you haven't moved at all the entire day.
It's that mental exhaustion.
Yeah, exactly that.
And that stress goes through and your body reacts to it, and it's just a whole jumbled mess.
It is. And you know, one other thing that you mentioned in your TED Talk about like some people get overwhelmed with like all the nutrition information that's out there. I am definitely one of those people that gets overwhelmed by that, and I just don't do anything at all because I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm just like, all right, never mind. I'll just go back to what I know, which is not necessarily the healthiest thing. So can you talk more about that and how you like help people to move through that?
Yeah, so not everyone, I can't generalize. Most people have this idea that they have to go all in, change everything about their entire nutrition plan, like everything about their whole lifestyle needs to get flipped on its head in order for them to be successful in complying with healthier habits. But the reality is, like any habit, right? We really want to focus on habits. If anybody can lose weight. That's not, anyone can lose weight and eat healthy for a week, like, and be in a calorie, all the things that are required if weight loss is a goal for you, like that is possible. But the issue is no one is able to sustain that, keep it off, enjoy it, and, commit to it long term. Right. So if we're talking about just taking care of our bodies and being the healthiest versions of ourselves from the inside out for a lifetime, not a temporary period of time, we have to focus on our habits, because we are what we repeatedly do. And anything you incorporate temporarily is only going to produce temporary results. So we really need to be focusing on our habits. So in like any habit, if you read all the productivity books, everybody that talks about building habits, it takes time. Yeah. And believe it or not, doesn't make 21 days to make a habit. or break a habit. It takes on average 66 days, and sometimes more and sometimes less, depending on how long you've been in this world of developing those unhealthy habits, right?
Right.
So it requires patience, consistency, dedication, and an understanding that it's not an all or nothing approach. It's really just, let me focus on one thing and master that, and then I'll build off of that. Let me gain some momentum, some confidence to feel good just by drinking more water. That alone will give you more energy and just help you feel better, more alert, your skin will clear up. And then from there, you're gonna be like, you know what, this wasn't too bad. Maybe I could replace, that snack in the middle of the day with like a piece of fruit and, I don't know, some nuts or something, versus the candy bar, chocolate bar, or chips, which are okay to have, by the way. I have to preface that I don't believe in extreme restriction. It's just,
that's what I need to hear. I'm
Me
a
too.
lover.
Yeah, like you need to learn how to incorporate those foods that you enjoy, the foods that you crave. But it's learning to do that in a way that also includes a balanced diet, so you don't overconsume those foods, because when you overconsume those foods, chances are you're not going to feel too good, and it probably won't help you get to your other goals, depending on what those are.
You said a lot of stuff right there that just really resonated with me. And one of the things that jumped out was the patience part. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, myself especially, is I don't have patience when it comes to like losing weight and seeing the progress of changing my diet. And it's like, I feel like if I change something, I'm expecting like the next day that I'll be skinny, you know what I mean? Which is obviously unrealistic, but I want to see those results faster. And then like, I'm trying to remember the other thing you said about, I can't remember, darn it. But it was,
that's fine. We could start with that, and if it comes to you,
yeah,
just go ahead, chime in. But this is another thing that screws people up. If you're only focused on weight loss, you will never be happy.
Right.
You will never be happy. It won't motivate you to keep going. The scale fluctuates day to day. It's also not an appropriate measure of your overall health. Your body composition, those are the things that matter. But most importantly, what matters is how you feel about yourself.
Right.
And how you feel in your skin. And it's really important to not just do it for a number. And I know that's like really, really hard, but it's something that I try to make clear with clients before they even start working with me. A lot of people do come to me for weight loss, but I tell them that it's a side effect to us just taking care of your body. And there's some people that take care of their body and don't lose any weight, or even maybe gain weight because they've been restricting their whole lives. And then it's learning to love your body at every stage of the journey, and knowing this is what you need, just knowing that you're doing the best you can to take care of it, and knowing that has to be enough, because our bodies are different and everyone is meant to be at a different size. And it's easier to accept that when you're putting in the work to take care of it, where it's harder to accept that when you're really neglecting your self-care and your general needs, like just drinking more water, getting more sleep, moving your body, like those things. It's a lot harder to then understand like what I'm saying. But if you kind of just flip the script and really just focus on taking care of you and understanding that that's an alternate, like it's a never-ending thing. You're never going to be done taking care of you. It's like you brush your teeth every day. It's like eating vegetables every day, drinking water. These are things that aren't going away. So you have to really focus on a different why. The why is not weight loss. Weight loss could be a potential side effect to that, but the why is because maybe you want to have more energy. When you have more energy, that enhances your relationship with your loved ones. Enhancing your relationship with your loved ones decreases stress, which can potentially help you, and also helps build confidence so that you could go after that job or that promotion that you want. Like, it's a much bigger picture, and so many people get so focused on the very little itty bitty things. Yes. You need to look at the bigger picture.
Girl, you were preaching just now. And I didn't remember what I wanted to say, but
that's okay.
It sounds like you're talking about like changing your mindset.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge mindset change. And I really see that as my major roadblock, which is funny because I'm a therapist, a student therapist. So it's like, I talk about this stuff all the time, but it's easier to talk about it with others than to apply it to yourself. So
yeah, well, I mean, just so you know too, like, even though I figured out the nutrition thing sooner than I figured out the relationship thing, and I can't speak about relationships. I can only talk about it in a way that I like dealt with it, but I'm not like a relationship expert or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to the nutrition stuff, even when I was in college, you know, and I started, Tips with Toni is now a business, and I do online nutrition coaching and I work with people one-on-one. But 10 years ago, it started as a blog. And I was giving out nutrition advice, and I was talking about balance and healthy habits. But meanwhile, I was obsessed with my diet. Like, I was obsessed with it. And I was still hoping to always lose some weight. I was hoping that every piece of knowledge I gained in college was somehow going to help me get the body that I really wanted. Like, I said that in my TED Talk, and I wasn't lying. That's literally what I was hoping. I couldn't admit it. But it's because we're human. So just because we know better doesn't mean we do better. And just because we do better doesn't mean that's like changes our mindset either. Like, we really have to do the work. And so like, that's kind of, I just wanted to share that too. It's like, you're not alone in that. Just because you're the expert in the field, you're still a human being. Like,
very true, very true. Thank you for that.
I feel like as women, we all have these goals, and we're so hard on ourselves.
Yes.
We'll reach it tomorrow, and that's just, it's not normal. We're not going to get there like that.
No. And I do want to just say something to women, any woman that's listening right now. Like, we're put in this society where we're told that we have to change our bodies in order to be happy, and we're constantly being fed these messages that we need to change in order to be worthy of, and I talk about like in relationship, worthy of love, but worthy of getting a promotion, worthy of getting a job, worthy of just so many things that it's really just holding us back. And chances are these messages that you've been getting about, like, that you need to change your body, or you need to try this diet or this tea or this supplement or this detox, it is just a distraction to pull you further away from your goals and what you're meant to be on this planet to do. That is literally where we really have to challenge societal norms and really just trust, like, I just need to take care of my body. I need to do the best that I can do for me. And then let's just see, you know, where that brings me to. But either way, I'm not going to allow my obsession with food and my body preoccupy me so much that it pulls away from my purpose in life. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I easily saw my life going in like two totally separate directions. And it was when I healed my relationship with food that I was really be able to like catapult and like do what I was meant to do and help other people. But I might not be here today giving you this, like, having this conversation if I was still preoccupied with the thoughts of food in my body.
That is a powerful, powerful message. I love it.
In your TED Talk, I wrote down the questions that you said, because I was like, this is so perfect for dating and your lifestyle, period. Will this last past the honeymoon phase? Think about that. Do I even like this?
Why you there?
That's really a thing, and in dating, it's really a thing.
Yes,
it's so really people. Do I even like this? Well, what am I doing? That's the whole thing.
Yes, but before you go, because there's lots of people that I know right now that are in relationships that they don't even like the other person. And it's like, but you never really liked them. If you talk to them, you can tell.
But they don't like the way they feel in that union. They're not happy. But it's like, well, I haven't met anyone in so long, I'll just see. And it's like, but
then
you're seeing that you don't even like this.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So that was my favorite. That was my favorite one. And what lessons did I learn from this? I loved. And because that goes so hand in hand with both things.
Well, that's the biggest one that I hope people really, really think about. Because at the end of the day, as much as I want to kind of be the mom who like wants to protect you from heartbreak and wants to protect you from doing a fad diet and like wasting your time, like, and I put that in quotes, like whatever, like it's never a waste of your time as long as it taught you something. But it is a waste of your time if you don't learn from it and you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. And that was me in my dating life. I say it in my TED Talk, I dated 5 versions of the same guy, just
me too. Me too.
It's so true.
Yes.
But you know, so that just happens, right? But then, you know, so my job as a dietitian is to help people from, you know, just doing another diet that looks like a different diet, but honestly, it's the same diet, just in a different book. Like, they either exclude whole food groups, they either have a list of eat this, don't eat that, they have, it's like, this is just follow this meal plan, just eat this for the rest of your life, never have wine or chocolate ever again, or coffee.
No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna do that.
You know, like, I would never, like, coffee, wine, and chocolate, hello, like, no,
exactly.
You know, so
right now.
I'm actually drinking water.
You know, you talk about it all the time.
I had wine before this, so.
You talk about it all the time. Your intuition and just really listening to yourself and listening to your body is so key. So when you're doing something, you'll feel like, okay, I ate this and maybe I didn't feel too good. Maybe this is something I shouldn't dabble with. And the same with dating. I'm dating this guy and I don't like the way he's doing things. Maybe this just isn't for me. And just knowing and catching on early enough, that's what, you know, learning from your past experiences come into play. It's just getting sharper and sharper and paying attention and moving it faster and better and, you know, clearing out the air better, faster. All of that, Jen.
Yeah, absolutely. And trusting that there's better things out there.
Yes.
And because the thing is like, we either so badly want to lose weight, right, or so badly want to be in a relationship, and we lose sight of the fact that, you know, that there's many ways to do that, and you don't have to settle,
right?
Just because, you know, being in a relationship and being in a happy relationship are two different things. Losing weight and being happy when you lose the weight are two different things. Like, you can have both. You definitely can have both, but you have to believe that. And it's a lot, you know, easier to say that out of it. You know, when we're in it, it's a lot harder to, but that's why asking yourself those questions, you know, beforehand, in the middle, after, like, processing, sitting with your feelings. Being, you know, you going with your gut, being you know, intuitive, it's all going to be super helpful in, you know, all aspects of life. I do believe that.
I believe that too. It's kind of like checking yourself with reality as well, because you got to ask yourself those questions. Because like you said, when you're in the situation, you're not always actively thinking about it. So when you actually force yourself to ask those questions, you're forcing yourself to think and not just go off of emotions. So
which is why I think therapy is, like, super helpful. I encourage it to, like, everyone. There's no shame in going to therapy. You don't need to be at the verge of a breakdown to go to one. If anything, I think just, like, you don't wait until some people do wait until they're diagnosed with, like, a chronic disease like diabetes or high cholesterol before they change their nutrition. But you don't have to do that. You could take action now and not have to worry about that in the future. And so I feel the same way with your mental health. Like, just, you know, it's a lot easier to have someone to help just create that pause, just that check-in once a week or every other week, to just, like, slow down and assess. That's how I recognized I kept dating the same men. It wasn't, I wasn't in therapy, I might still be in a really bad relationship, you know, like, it was so helpful to have that, because otherwise I would just, like, I would have kept living my life and just, like, repeating the same old patterns.
Yeah. And that's so important. I think sometimes going to therapy there's like a stigma surrounding it. Like, people feel like, oh, if you go to therapy, then you're crazy, or you can handle things on your own. But it's really not that. You have everything within you. It's just that sometimes it's helpful to have a different perspective outside of you, outside of your situation, to bring that out of you. And, you know, that's what I love so much about therapy.
But I think it's also about help with direction. Yeah. Just like with the dietitian, you might know what you have to do, but maybe just don't know in what order.
Exactly. And I wanted you to talk more about your book. You mentioned that you wrote this book and you made the parallels about relationships. And before, you were saying that you made this book geared towards women, but you would like a male perspective. So tell us about your book. What's the name of it? Where can we get it? All that stuff. Tell us all that stuff.
Well, okay. Well, you can't get it yet. It's in writing, but it's almost done. So hopefully 2021, the first 6 months of 2021. I would like to give you a real deadline, but, like, everything I thought that this takes a lot longer than I ever thought. But it will be out in 2021. And basically, it's an extension of the TED Talk. And it really just kind of goes deeper into how to, you know, how to be introspective and learn from your past. And, you know, when I talk about like, you know, to watch out for, like, thinking about, will this last past the honeymoon phase, I give examples of like previous clients. I talk a lot about my story and kind of growing up and hearing from all angles, being told that I was overweight and I, you know, if I lost weight, I might get a boyfriend. Like, those were like messages I got really early on. And so those were, you know, so, and then I talk about like my relationships and simultaneously the type of eating I was engaged in while in those relationships, which can be a really big presentation of if you're in a happy or healthy relationship. So if you're binging a lot, if you struggle with binge eating disorder, or if you just feel like you need to restrict and control because maybe the relationship itself is just kind of out of control, there can be a lot of telltale signs that maybe this relationship is not for you, and or this nutrition plan is not for you. So that's kind of like the basis of the book. And there's just many different things where I kind of talk about like how to measure what matters, and how society has us believing that, you know, so with relationship stuff, it's like marry, car, kids, like, you know, all that stuff. But like, what about the actual relationship?
Right.
You know, trust, compatibility, like, you know, respect, understanding, you know, does he make you laugh? Does he, you know, cook for you? Does he take out, you know, what's important to you? Maybe, right. You know, everyone has like their different love language, right? Like, you know, maybe you don't care that he like is super helpful around the house. I would care, but like, maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, you know what? I love doing it myself. Like, some people are just like that. Like, don't touch. I got it. I'll organize. Like, you know. So it's like little things like that. But it's important to know what you're looking for and what you want out of a relationship and out of your nutrition and just your life and yourself. And so that's kind of what the whole book is about.
Mm-hmm. I was just telling Cortnie that I believe it was last episode, that right now, and I wish it happened in my 20s, but it's happening now in my 30s, where I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want. Because as women, we always know what we don't want, but I want to know what I want. I want to know what a healthy relationship looks like. I want to know all these things. So, you know, now is the time that I'm spending a lot more time at home with my journals, that I really need to just focus on this mental health. And I realized too, when I eat cleaner throughout the day, I do have more mental clarity. I do have more energy. I do just feel better about myself. And I feel the difference when I eat like crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, but right. So it's listening to that. Well, so here, but this is what you need to pay attention to, right? Doesn't need to be one or the other, right? It's mostly eating healthy and balanced, and then learning, and this is the hard part, but it's learning how to, when you have a craving or when you want something that might be a little bit more indulgent, it's learning to have part of that, not all of that, with a balanced meal. So give me an example of something that you consider as like, quote unquote, like unhealthy or like not really the best choice. Like,
cheese
what's
balls
for you?
We got a huge thing of cheese balls right here. Like,
that's for the bar. That's for the bar.
I thought you meant like cheese balls, like the fried.
Oh no, like the cheese puffs, like the
cheese puffs, the cheese puffs.
Yeah. So if it's more like a snack option, then I would just say take out the amount that you actually want to have, not what the serving size says, just like a realistic portion of like, what do you think is going to satisfy me? Take that out and then put the other stuff away in a place you can't see it. And then consider, if you go back for more, or pairing it with maybe something healthier, like, so I don't know if you like baby carrots or, you know, something, or if you said chips, like maybe it's like pairing with some salsa or something. And just, you know, and also too, even before you eat that, check in and ask yourself, like, did I even eat a meal today? Because very often I find people tend to skip meals, and then their cravings for, you know, snacks or like higher fatty foods or higher sugary foods, more fried foods, they come up as a result of your body not getting, you know, balanced nutrients. So it's just kind of, just do a quick check-in, like, did I eat today? When was the last time I ate? Like, is it time for lunch? Is it time for dinner? You know, like, maybe I could have this with my lunch, you know, take out that portion amount and have it with your lunch, or have it after your dinner. But if you have that beforehand, chances are you will overeat it and you're not going to feel good. So just taking that minute to pause and check in.
Yeah,
I find that drinking water helps me. If I drink enough water before and then I drink a lot while having it, I'll fill up faster. So I maybe won't have as much.
Yeah, so that
maybe.
Yeah, it definitely helps. So like water definitely, sometimes we think we're hungry when we're actually just thirsty. So that's like physiologically what could be happening. But also too, water just creates a pause. It creates a moment for you to just check in. If you're practicing that mindfulness, it's just an opportunity for you to just assess, like, do I really want this?
Do I really want this? That's like emotional eating. Because I know some people, this
that is what I specialize in. Yeah, that is actually what that is where I help a lot of people who are struggling with emotional eating or binge eating. And we really kind of, after the root of a lot of that, I will say, is people just need to stop dieting and then they won't have an immense amount of cravings and emotions. But it's also learning how to eat healthy and balanced, right? And so when we do that, then it's a lot easier to decipher, like, is this true hunger or is this emotional hunger? And then I kind of help them through that.
This is all so fascinating to me. Like, I feel like I need to be writing down notes and stuff because I need this. I really need this. I saw on your webpage that you were on Dr. Oz and that you made an avocado butter, and it sounded so amazing. Like, tell us more about this avocado butter and like, why is it better to have something like this as opposed to like regular butter or whatever, margarine?
Yeah, so it's just the way, it's really avocado toast, really. It was basically, that was their theme. So I went on and talked about, like, I was in with the theme, but it's basically just avocado toast. So you just like mash up an avocado. To be honest, that was like 3 or 4. No, I think that was 3 years ago. So I don't even remember. Yeah. I think it was like garlic powder, olive oil. I don't even know the ingredients. You have to go on Dr. House. It's so bad. I like really can't even remember. But you just like mash up an avocado and you put that, on your toast or whatever. And just the reason, and so that's a good example of what I encourage, what are called healthy swaps. So it's knowing that it's okay to have butter sometimes, it's okay to have, chips, whatever, but it's looking for alternatives that are equally as satisfying, but more nutritious. So avocado is richer in antioxidants, which can prevent and treat disease, prevent disease really, and fiber, dietary fiber, which helps with fullness and your bowel movements and managing blood sugars and preventing things like high cholesterol, and then healthy fats, which are also really good for your heart as well. So that versus butter, which might taste really good, but there's not as much nutritional value there. So that's an example of things that you can just kind of take in your everyday life. So if you usually cook with butter, switch with olive oil. If you usually spread butter on your toast, try things like, avocado or hummus. Just look for little ways to make some small changes. That way it doesn't feel like you're on a diet. It's just, little things you're doing to change your lifestyle. And it's something you're already doing. That's what we call habit stacking. So it's like taking something, if you already wake up in the morning and you have like butter on your toast, it's just waking up in the morning and now taking avocado and spreading that on your toast and then sprinkling it with everything but the bagel seasoning, by the way, from Trader Joe's. And maybe throw like an egg on there and you have a more balanced breakfast that's also more nutritious.
Now I have a question. I know a lot of people like struggle with diet and food because their schedule is hectic and maybe they don't have enough time to cook, such as myself. I don't really have the time to cook like that. And I tend to order out. Sometimes I get a lot of times I get like pizza or Chinese food. What are your thoughts on how to manage that, like your time and eating healthier?
Yeah, so I think like anything, what you prioritize is going to get done. So I think it's part of it is I understand a busy schedule. But it's also, I think, going back to earlier where we anticipate a healthy eating is like this complete U-Haul over your diet when really it's just taking little steps and little things. So maybe even finding, if you cook maybe at least one day out of the week, don't just cook for that one meal. Cook to have leftovers, and really just get into the habit of preparing food ahead of time. Now, with that said, I think that every healthy diet can and should include takeout. I say it in my TED Talk, like, doesn't matter how effective your diet is if you only eat out of Tupperware container and never leave your house, which made more sense pre-COVID, but now I realize it could be done. But all that to say that, like, most people's version of thinking of healthy is like that they have to cook all their meals and they can only eat out of like portion containers, and realistically healthy is a balance of everything. And so if what works for you is ordering in, then I would recommend looking for small ways to maybe add vegetables to that. So if you can't order a side of veggies with it, maybe get, the frozen steamable vegetable bags, although they don't taste as good because they're microwavable, rather as fresh, I think tastes better. Their nutrition quality is just as high, and it's like literally like 3 to 5 minutes in the microwave, and you could just like add veggies to like have on the side with your pizza or on top of your pizza. I love salad kits. I always have salad kits that I have, like, honestly, for if I had, actually, that's literally exactly what I had for lunch today. I took frozen gluten-free pizza, because I'm gluten-free, not that it's not healthy for you, by the way. It's just like if you're allergic or sensitive to gluten, it can make you feel better and you won't be in the toilet. So I just want to clarify that. So I had half of the personal pie with the salad kit for lunch today, and it was like really delicious. So it's just like looking for ways to, make veggies present. And like I was saying earlier, when it comes to finding that balance, it's picking one part of the dish. So very often, say you're ordering in maybe like a cheeseburger with French fries, and that's fine occasionally, but if that's like a usual option for you, it's like what are you really craving? Are you craving the cheeseburger? Are you craving the French fries? If you're really craving the cheeseburger with the bun, can you forgo the French fries? Or maybe you're really craving the French fries, so maybe you get it in a lettuce wrap and you get like an extra side of veggies or something. You just look for ways. Just be open to the idea that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You just have to find the little ways, and you'll just be so much more satisfied.
Yeah.
And it can be done. You just have to
I can do that.
Works for you. Good. Okay, awesome.
This is encouraging me. I can do this.
Yes, I know that you can. Small changes.
Yes,
small
changes.
Little wins, small changes, just like anything in life.
Yes.
Little things.
Yes, that's exactly what I tell my clients too. I tell them to celebrate little things, and that like helps you to build your self-esteem and things like that. So the same goes for dieting and changing the way you eat. So I could do that. I could do that.
Yes.
I'm wondering, what are your thoughts about like the different types of diets, like pescatarians, vegetarians, vegans? What do you think about those types of diets?
Yeah, so for some, it's a lifestyle and that they really enjoy and they like. For others, it's an eating disorder or disordered eating hiding behind a lifestyle. So it's important to understand the difference. I was the last one. I was a vegetarian in college, and like I shared with you, I was just hoping to lose weight. It wasn't working, so I became a vegan. That wasn't working, so then I noticed I had like this gut issue, and so I was a gluten-free vegan. Very, very restrictive. You can't eat any animal products, and you can't eat any grains or pasta or anything that is normally would be on a vegan people. That's what we need. That's what you eat. So if and what I actually literally just wrote a post about this like 2 days ago. The message was that what I learned through my experience is that I don't need to eliminate meat to make vegetables the star of the dish. So you can still make vegetables present without going completely vegan, completely vegetarian. If that is important to you in the sense that you're doing it for moral reasons, if you just don't like what meat tastes like, that's totally different. But if you're doing it for health reasons, you don't have to go that extreme, especially if you're someone who normally doesn't, excuse me, like, if you're someone who doesn't like actually even, if you're like someone who eats all processed food and you're going then you're going vegan or vegetarian, it can just be another diet. Excuse me.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, because I was wondering, I thought, I don't know too much about those types of diets, but I thought it might be too restrictive. But you know, I guess it's different for everybody. It depends on what they're eating, you know.
Those diets do come with some nutrition deficiencies. The vegan more so than vegetarian, things like vitamin B12 and iron, and even a little bit, it's depending on their goals, sometimes protein. It won't be deficient, but it might be less than optimal. So, you know, you have to just take a look at that. But honestly, any diet really, and diet, when I say diet, it's the food that you eat. So any person's diet probably is missing some sort of nutrition if a dietitian was going to really actually take a deeper look. But the vegan lifestyle can, you know, there's a lot more things that can we can do to help with that. But I often do recommend my vegan clients to take some sort of supplement to counter the potential side effects from the deficiencies.
Okay. So what is the deal with men versus women and losing weight? Because it seems like, I mean, maybe it's just what I've seen with my husband. It seems like men can lose weight like that. Like if they stop drinking soda, they're skinny the next week. But with women, it seems like it's a more long-term process. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that. What is there a difference?
Yeah, I mean, this is the way that we're built. Women, everyone thinks body fat is so bad. Body fat is very healthy. Excessive amounts is not great, but not having enough is also unhealthy. We're meant to carry babies, and so you know, so we need body fat to help with that. Our hormones help with that production, and all that to say, just naturally, our bodies we have different body compositions. So men tend to have more muscle, and women tend to carry more body fat. And at rest, muscle burns more calories at rest than body fat does, muscle does. So men just naturally burn more calories. They're also, the taller you are and the more you weigh, the more calories you actually burn at rest if you don't damage your metabolism. So that's naturally what would happen. And then you have to think about those who are affected by extreme dieting. Although men fall into that category too, a lot of women do it. And every time you do an extreme diet and lose massive amounts of weight, and then you gain it back, you're literally ruining your metabolic rate, and it's going lower and lower and lower every time. And so that's why it's so much harder for women to lose weight. For men, there's so many reasons why it's harder for women to lose weight. So you're not wrong by that.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. You're lucky, babe.
Yeah. I just have to stop drinking soda and I'm good next week.
You know?
No joke. I have a client. She graduated from my program. It's been a year or so ago now. She worked with me for 7 months. I did that 7th month. And here's the crazy thing. She actually wasn't coming to me for weight loss. She was really coming to me to really just feel better. And she knew she wasn't eating well or taking care of herself. And she did lose, I think she lost 10 pounds in that 7 months, but she didn't even have weight to lose. It was just it was healthy, whatever. Anyways, long story short, through cooking more at home and just taking care of herself, it kind of rubbed off on her husband, and they didn't do as much takeout or whatever. And her husband lost 50 pounds.
Oh my God.
He wasn't working with me.
That's awesome.
A byproduct. And she was like, she's like, you know, I love what I look like. I love what I feel like. I'm happy with everything. She's like, but come on.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. I'll never forget that. I tell that story a lot, whenever it comes up on something, because it's still, and they look, and they look great. I'm so happy for them, but that was not the intention.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I was on your website and I saw in your, you actually have people apply for your program, and you were like, let me tell you who this program is not for. And I really thought that was awesome that you specify, look, if you're this type of person, this is not the program for you. And this is what this program would be for. This is the type of person this would be for. So can you talk more about that and why you have that set up that way?
Yeah, well, because I want it to be really clear that this is not just another fad diet or something that they can expect they're going to get crazy results really quickly. And I want people to understand that this is a process. It takes patience, it takes consistency, And it takes the responsibility of like, you got to put in the work. And I want to make sure that I'm working with someone who has that understanding that it's not, changes aren't made overnight, but at the same time, like, I am here to like help you sift through that information, help you sift through the overwhelm, and work together. It's like a teamwork sort of approach. So I don't want someone who just expects that like they hire me and they're magic and like, oh, like here you go. I also want to make sure that they're not looking for like a cookie cutter meal plan, because that's not what I do. I help people. I really listen to what people are currently eating, and then we work through making those healthier habits and behaviors over a 6-month period to eventually arrive at their individualized plan. But so therefore I don't give out like a list of eat this, don't eat that. Like that's just not what my program is about. So I just wanted it to be clear up front that this is like it's a I call it like a healthy lifestyle program. Like it's not just a weight loss program. It's different. And I want people to know that what they're getting themselves into, because it requires commitment and dedication and hard work. I mean, it's worth it. It's like the best thing ever. Like, I might be biased, but like my clients are like my best friend. And also too, not also too, like that's also why I have the application process, because, you know, my clients, like we feed off each other's energy, and I like want to have like, I feel like they are like my best friends kind of. It's like weird, like I'm coaching them, I'm the professional, but like we vibe well, and I want to make sure that this person's not going to suck my energy out of me. Exactly. You know, like I want it to be a good fit.
That goes with your phrase from your TED Talk. Success comes with compatibility.
Yes.
I wrote that down.
Quoting over there.
Yes.
I love that.
And I love it, because that's what you have to do when you're looking for someone to be in a relationship with too. You don't want to just take anybody. You got to check their energy and make sure that they fit with you and they're compatible with you. And the same goes with your dietitian, you know, and like finding the right, you know, food to eat. This is really, really great. Like I've never seen anything like what you're doing. I really love the message behind what you're doing. I can tell that you're very passionate about it. And, you know, I wish you great success. I see that you're already successful with it. And I just really pray that it just soars, because you're doing great work. And I know that the people who are listening, myself especially, I've gotten a lot out of what you've shared with us today, and it just in general, not just about nutrition, but, you know, life in general and relationships and everything. So I really, really appreciate you sharing that with us.
And we can see that the diet and the lifestyle really works, because you radiate.
Yes.
You radiate health and
you do
happiness and good energy, and that comes from within. So.
It does. It does.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm telling you.
Thank you so much, guys. This has been so great. I'm so grateful to be here, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And you're welcome to come back anytime, you know, anytime anything is going on, you want to talk about, or just if you just want to hang out with us, you're welcome
Maybe
to come back.
when my book is like actually out.
Yes.
There you go.
The invitation is open.
Thank you. Yeah. When it actually comes out, I'm definitely going to reach out to you guys.
Definitely. So tell everybody where we can see you, reach you. You have a podcast as well.
Yep.
Right? Tips with Toni? The
Tips with Toni podcast. So Tips with Toni everywhere. So Tips with Toni on Instagram, the Tips with Toni podcast. My website is tipswithtoni.com. I have a Facebook group. So if you go to the Tips with Toni page on Facebook, it'll lead you to the free Facebook group. So I don't know when this episode's going out. I have a couple spots to work with me one-on-one, but we are entering January. So if you're listening to this before January, get your application in like now. If it's January, you'll probably get on a waiting list. But either way, I would be happy to work with you, because it seems like you are listening to some really great people, which means you're probably a really awesome person. Because you gotta know one to be one. So you would go to the coaching tab on my website, www.tipswithtoni.com/coaching, to apply there. Or I do have a course as well. If you go to the course tab, if you don't want to do one-on-one and you just want to learn about healthy living, there's a course there as well.
I'm in there. So this this podcast episode comes out on Monday. So
perfect.
You know, go there, do it, sign up, you know, definitely. So I might sign up myself.
Yeah. Oh my God, do it. Yeah. Just honestly, I would love that. But yeah, the application, I always tell people that's probably the hardest part, because once we get on a call, we'll really talk through some things and it'll be really clear, you know, that you made the right decision, and we just gotta like build you that roadmap to help you get to where you probably have been struggling to get to for most of your life. And I'm happy to be a part of your journey and help you through that.
You're awesome, Toni. Thank you so much for being on our show. We really appreciate you. Yes, round of applause for Toni. Toni Marinucci. Thank you so much again for being on the show. We look forward to when you come back.
Thank you.
All right.
Love and light.
Oh.
You guys are so sweet.
Oh,
this is so great.
It's affirmation time.
So the affirmation for the week: I will focus on being at my optimal health to nurture my mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
That's deep, yeah.
Nurture my mind, body, and spirit. It's important. We got to take care of our whole being. Everything. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I did. You can hear the excitement in Babe. So we will talk to you again next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
If you are enjoying the Common Woman podcast and would like to support, please like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would like to contact the Common Woman podcast, you can email us at thecommonwomanpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media on Instagram @The Common Woman Podcast and on Twitter @Common Woman Pod. Thank you for your support.